Imagine living each day with the quiet confidence that no matter what happens, life is rearranging itself in your favor. You wake up with the assurance that unseen forces are guiding you, aligning the right people, opportunities, and circumstances to bring you exactly where you need to be. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a choice, a mindset, and a way of being. When you act as if everything always works out for you, you begin to live in the vibration of your desires before they even appear. Every single day, you are radiating something. You might not see it, but you can feel it. And so can everyone around you. It's the invisible language of your energy. It speaks louder than your words, stronger than your actions, and deeper than your intentions. It's the vibration you carry with you into every room, every conversation, and every choice. And here's the truth: life is always listening to that vibration. When you walk through your day expecting things to go wrong, expecting delays, expecting disappointments, that energy begins to shape your reality. You are not being punished. You are simply experiencing the reflection of what you are holding inside. The universe responds to your tone, your frequency, your emotional state. It mirrors back to you what you are already broadcasting. Think of it this way: if you tune a radio to a station that plays sad songs all day, that's all you will hear. It doesn't matter how much you wish for a joyful song. The station can only play what it's tuned to. In the same way, your energy is your frequency, and your life plays the matching soundtrack. When you choose to act as if everything always works out for you, you are making a decision to tune your frequency higher. You are setting your dial to possibility, to trust, to expectation of good things. It doesn't mean you will never have challenges. It means that even when they come, you carry a steady knowing that they will resolve in your favor. You are no longer magnetizing chaos, you are magnetizing solutions. Energy is contagious. If you've ever walked into a room where someone is angry, you can feel the heaviness in the air without anyone saying a word. The same is true for joy, love, and confidence. They radiate from you and influence everything around you. People are drawn to those who carry energy of calm assurance because it feels safe. Opportunities are drawn to that same energy because it signals readiness. When you decide to believe that life is working for you, you start to notice the little confirmations. A parking space opens right when you need it. A problem you thought would take weeks to solve is resolved in hours. You overhear the exact advice you needed at the perfect time. These are not coincidences. They are responses to your energetic shift. But here's the key. You cannot fake energy for long. You can pretend to be confident. You can paste a smile on your face. But if inside you are carrying fear and doubt, the vibration will eventually reveal itself. That's why the real work begins within. You must first become aware of the stories you tell yourself, because your energy is built from those stories. If you say to yourself every morning, "I'm always behind, nothing works for me," your energy will carry the exhaustion and frustration of those words. But if you begin your day with, "Everything always works out for me, and today is filled with opportunities," you step into a completely different energy before your feet even touch the ground. Your outer world bends to the energy you send out. This is why two people can face the same challenge and have completely different experiences. One sees a dead end, the other sees a detour to something better. The difference isn't luck, it's energy. One person's vibration calls in hopelessness. The other's calls in solutions. If you want to transform your life, begin by becoming intentional with the energy you carry. Guard it like it is the most valuable thing you own, because it is. The way you feel, think, and believe is shaping your future in every moment. This doesn't mean you need to be happy every second of the day. It means you need to be conscious of the emotional home you return to. Is it fear? Is it gratitude? Is it trust? Whatever it is, life will keep giving you more reasons to feel that way. Sometimes the simplest shift in energy comes from choosing a new thought. When you catch yourself spiraling into worry, pause and remind yourself, even this is working out for me. That single statement changes the vibration you're sending out. It turns your energy from resistance to openness, from fear to trust. And the moment you shift, the world around you begins to respond in kind. Your energy is like the sun. It doesn't chase after the plants to make them grow. It simply shines, and growth happens naturally. You don't have to chase after every outcome, control every detail, or force life to go your way. You simply need to shine from a place of knowing that life is already on your side. When you hold that energy, life cannot help but rise to meet it. So walk into your day with that invisible crown on your head. Move through challenges as though the victory is already yours. Smile at the small blessings because they are proof that the big ones are on their way. Act as if everything always works out for you. And soon, you will see that it does, not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. The energy you carry became the reality you live. When you want to create a new reality for yourself, one of the most powerful tools you have is the ability to act as if it's already yours. This isn't about lying to yourself or denying what's in front of you. It's about stepping into the feeling of what you want before it arrives. At first, it may feel unnatural, even uncomfortable. Your mind might say, but it's not here yet, and your circumstances might shout. Look around. Nothing has changed. That's when the practice of pretending becomes essential. You are not pretending to trick anyone. You are pretending to train yourself to think and feel differently until it becomes second nature. The mind is deeply influenced by repetition. It doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something experienced in reality. When you consistently act, think, and feel as though you already have the life you want, your mind begins to accept that story as truth. And because your mind is the command center of your actions, you start behaving in ways that align with that story. This is when the magic begins. Life starts to rearrange itself to match the version of you that you've been rehearsing. At first, it may feel like wearing clothes that don't fit quite right. The words you say to yourself may feel hollow. The confidence you try to project may seem forced. And your heart might whisper, I'm not ready. But if you keep practicing, that awkwardness will fade. Just as an actor rehearses a role until the lines flow effortlessly, you will begin to embody your new self without even trying. This is why it's so important to use all your senses in this process. Don't just think about what you want. Feel it. Imagine the details. How would you walk into a room if you were already living your dream life? How would you speak to others? How would you take care of yourself? Would you carry yourself with a little more grace? Would your shoulders be a little straighter? Would your tone be a little calmer? Pretending in this way is not about escaping your current life. It's about preparing for the one you're stepping into. When you act as if you already have love, success, health, or abundance, you are signaling to your subconscious mind and to the universe that you are ready to receive it. You stop waiting and start living. You become an energetic match for what you desire. This practice also helps you dissolve fear and doubt. Fear thrives in the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Pretending closes that gap. If you keep telling yourself, I am already the person I want to be, your mind has no choice but to adapt. The fears that once felt so big start to shrink because they no longer have a place in your new identity. Of course, There will be moments when reality tries to test you. You might look at your bank account, your job, or your relationships and feel the temptation to give up, to say, "This is just make believe." But remember, everything that exists in your life today was once just an idea, a vision, a possibility. Every building was once a drawing. Every invention was once a dream. Every relationship started with a meeting that could have gone unnoticed. The things you want are no different. They are simply in the stage of being formed, and your belief is part of that formation process. If you want to be more confident, start speaking like a confident person today. If you want to be financially free, start making choices as if you value your time and money in the way a financially free person would. If you want to be deeply loved, start treating yourself with the care and attention that love would naturally bring into your life. When you pretend long enough, you begin to forget where the pretending stops and the reality begins, because the two merge. Think about a child playing pretend. When they decide they're a superhero, they don't stop every few minutes to remind themselves it's not true. They throw themselves into the role completely. They feel the strength, the courage, the excitement of being that hero. In their world, for those moments, it's real. This is the same energy you can bring into your own transformation. Let your imagination take the lead until it becomes your default state. In the beginning, you may have to remind yourself dozens of times a day. You may catch yourself falling back into the old way of thinking, the old habits of feeling small or uncertain. That's normal. Just gently bring yourself back to your chosen reality. Say to yourself, "This is who I am now. This is how I think. This is how I live." Over time, this repetition rewires your mind, shifts your energy, and changes what you attract. One day, you'll look back and realize that you're no longer pretending. You've stepped fully into the life you once only imagined. The confidence will be real. The abundance will be real. The love will be real. And it will feel natural because you've been living in that space within yourself for so long that the outside world had no choice but to catch up. The truth is, the moment you start acting as if your dream is already here, you have already taken the most powerful step toward making it real. You're no longer wishing, you're becoming. You're no longer waiting, you're living. And life always rises to meet the person you've decided to be. One of the greatest blocks to receiving what you desire is the obsession with figuring out exactly how it will come to you. You have the dream, the goal, the vision, and then your mind immediately starts racing, searching for the step-by-step plan, the perfect sequence of events, the specific pathway. And when it can't see that path clearly, it starts to panic. Doubt creeps in. You begin to question whether it's possible at all. But here's the truth. The how is not your job. The how belongs to life, to the universe, to the unseen forces that are far more intelligent and resourceful than your conscious mind. Your only job is to know what you want, to hold the vision, to keep your energy in alignment with it, and to take inspired action when it appears. Everything else is out of your hands. And that's a good thing. When you try to control the how, you are limiting the possibilities to only what you can imagine. You are saying to the universe, "This is the only way it can happen," and closing the door to the countless other ways it could arrive. Sometimes, what you want will come to you in a way you never could have predicted. Through a person you didn't expect to meet, an opportunity you didn't even know existed, or a chain of events that looks like a detour but turns out to be the shortcut. The need to control the how comes from fear. We're afraid that if we don't have a clear plan, nothing will happen. But faith works in the opposite way. It asks you to release your grip and trust that even if you can't see the path is there. When you let go, you create space for magic to happen. You allow life to surprise you. Letting go of the how doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean sitting on the couch and waiting for a miracle to drop into your lap. It means doing your part. Aligning your mindset, preparing yourself to receive, taking steps where you feel led, and then stepping back. You stop micromanaging the process. You stop worrying about whether the timing is right, whether you're in the exact right place, whether you're making the perfect move. You trust that if you're listening and staying open, the right moves will present themselves naturally. Think of it like planting a seed. You put the seed in the soil, water it, and give it sunlight. But you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You don't demand that it sprout in exactly 3 days and 2 hours. You trust that beneath the surface, something is happening, even though you can't see it yet. The same is true for your desires. The how is happening behind the scenes, in ways you may never fully understand. If you've ever looked back on a blessing in your life, you might notice that it didn't happen the way you thought it would. In fact, some of your greatest moments may have come disguised as disappointments at first. Maybe you lost a job and thought it was the worst thing that could happen. But that loss pushed you toward a career you love. Maybe a relationship ended and your heart broke, but it made room for someone who fits your life perfectly. In the moment, the how didn't make sense. But later you could see that everything was working out in ways you couldn't have planned. Releasing the how is an act of surrender, but not the kind of surrender that means giving up. It's the surrender of trust, of saying, I believe that what I desire is making its way to me, and I don't need to control every twist and turn along the way. It's stepping into the role of co-creator, where you do your part and let the universe do its part. The more you practice this, the lighter you will feel. You'll stop exhausting yourself trying to force outcomes. You'll stop spending sleepless nights worrying about every detail. Instead, you'll find yourself more relaxed, more open, more ready to see the opportunities that appear. And when they do appear, you'll be able to recognize them because you'll be looking through the eyes of trust instead of fear. Sometimes, letting go of the how also means letting go of the timeline. You may want something right now, but perhaps it needs a little more time to develop. Maybe you need to grow into the person who can hold it. Maybe the pieces are still falling into place. Trusting the process means understanding that delays aren't denials. They're part of the preparation. Life has a way of weaving together events, people, and opportunities in ways that are far beyond your understanding. You might think the only way to your dream is a straight line, but life might take you on a winding road that is richer, deeper, and more beautiful than anything you imagined. If you had insisted on your way, you might have missed it entirely. So instead of asking, how will it happen? Try asking, how can I stay open today? How can I keep my energy in alignment with what I want? How can I trust a little more? The moment you shift your focus from controlling to allowing, you step into a state where miracles can unfold naturally. The how is the universe's masterpiece, and when you stop interfering, you give it room to paint something beyond your wildest dreams. Every single person carries an inner story. It's the quiet narrative that runs beneath every thought, every decision, and every action you take. Most of the time, you don't even realize it's there. It's built from your past experiences, the words people have spoken over you, the moments that broke your heart, and the times you felt proud and capable. Over the years, It becomes the lens through which you see the world. The trouble is, many of us are living according to stories that no longer serve us. Stories we didn't even choose for ourselves. These stories might sound like, I'm not good with money. I'm always unlucky in love. Opportunities never come my way, or things never work out for me. They might be rooted in moments from your childhood when someone told you that you weren't enough, or from a failure that made you believe you couldn't try again. The problem isn't that you experienced those moments. The problem is that you began to tell yourself a story about them, and then you kept repeating it until it became your truth. The story you tell yourself is powerful because your mind listens to it, your heart believes it, and your actions follow it. If you tell yourself every day that you are not capable, you will find ways to prove it true. You will shrink back from opportunities, sabotage your own progress, and choose safe, small steps instead of bold moves. But when you change the story, everything else changes. Rewriting your story begins with becoming aware of it. Start noticing the phrases you repeat in your mind. Pay attention to the moments you feel limited or small. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? If you feel stuck in your career, is your story, no one ever notices my hard work. If you struggle with relationships, is your story, people always leave me. Once you identify the story, you can begin to change it. And here's the beautiful truth. You are the author of your own narrative. Just because you've told a certain story for years doesn't mean you have to keep telling it. You can decide, right now, to replace it with something new. If your story has been, I'm always behind in life, you can choose a new one. I am exactly where I need to be, and everything is unfolding perfectly. If your story has been, nothing ever works out for me, you can rewrite it as, life is always guiding me toward what's best for me. When you shift your inner story, your outer reality begins to shift too. This isn't magic in the sense of waving a wand. It's the way your mind and energy work. The story you believe shapes your decisions, and your decisions shape your results. If you believe you're unlucky, you might not even notice the opportunities right in front of you. But if you believe you're supported, you'll see doors where before you only saw walls. Sometimes, rewriting your story means forgiving yourself for the past. You may have made mistakes, taken wrong turns, or stayed in situations longer than you should have. But those moments do not define you. They are simply chapters in your book, not the whole story. You can acknowledge them, learn from them, and then turn the page. It's also important to speak your new story out loud. Affirmations are powerful because they interrupt the old patterns running in your mind. When you say, I am capable, I am worthy, or I am loved, you are planting seeds of truth that will grow over time. At first, it may feel strange, especially if your old story has been playing for years. But with repetition, the new story will take root. Remember that your new story doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be empowering. You're not pretending that challenges don't exist. You're deciding that challenges are not the end of the story. Instead of saying, this is just how my life is, you can say, this is just where I am right now, and it's leading me somewhere better. But your story is the foundation of your identity. Change the story, and you change who you believe yourself to be. Change who you believe yourself to be, and you change the way you move through the world. Suddenly, you're not the person who always gets overlooked. You're the person who creates their own opportunities. You're not the person who's unlucky in love. You're the person who attracts healthy, fulfilling relationships. the most liberating thing you can do is realize that the pen has been in your hand the whole time. You don't have to wait for someone else to rewrite your story for you. You don't need permission. You can begin right now. Decide what you want the next chapter to be about. Fill it with courage, hope, and possibility. One day, you'll look back and realize that the old story, the one that kept you small, afraid, or stuck, was just one part of a much bigger, more beautiful narrative. And the moment you chose to rewrite it was the moment your life began to change. Because when you tell yourself a better story, you start to live a better life. One of the most transformative choices you can make is to start living as though you are already the person you want to become. Instead of making decisions based on your current limitations, you begin to make them based on your future possibilities. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about aligning your actions, your mindset, and your energy with the life you're creating, rather than the life you're leaving behind. Most people let their present circumstances dictate every choice they make. They look at their bank account and decide what's possible. They look at their current relationships and decide what kind of love they can expect. They look at their skills today and decide what kind of opportunities they can pursue. But if you want to grow, you can't just keep repeating what you've already been doing. You have to step into the energy of the version of you who has already arrived at your destination. Think about it. If you were already the successful, confident, fulfilled person you want to be, how would you think? How would you carry yourself? How would you spend your time? How would you treat yourself and others? Start doing those things now. Even in small ways, start embodying the habits, decisions, and mindset of your future self. If you want to be a business owner, start thinking like one before you even open your doors. Make choices as though your time, energy, and ideas are valuable, because they are. If you want to be healthy and vibrant, begin treating your body with the care and respect you imagine your healthiest self would give it. If you want to be in a loving, secure relationship, start speaking to yourself with the same kindness and appreciation you hope to receive from someone else. When you act from the place you're going, you begin to attract opportunities that match that energy. It's like tuning a radio to a specific station. You can't hear the music until you match the frequency. When you live in the vibration of your future self, life responds by sending you situations and connections that align with it. This doesn't mean you need to make huge, dramatic changes overnight. Often, it's the small shifts that make the biggest difference. Your future self might wake up earlier to make space for creativity. So you start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier each day. Your future self might have a calm, grounded presence. So you begin practicing mindfulness for a few minutes in the morning. Your future self might be financially wise. So you start setting aside even a small amount of money to build that habit now. Acting from where you're going also means making decisions that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. If you keep choosing what's safe and familiar, you'll stay in the same place. The version of you that has already achieved your dreams has taken risks, said yes to new experiences, and trusted themselves in the face of uncertainty. Start practicing that trust now. Say yes to the opportunities that scare you a little. They are often the ones that hold the most growth. It's important to remember that this is not about living in denial of your present situation. You can acknowledge where you are while still choosing to move in the energy of where you want to be. For example, you might not have the financial freedom you desire yet, but you can still practice gratitude for what you have, manage your money wisely, and make purchases from a mindset of abundance instead of lack. There will be moments when your current reality and your vision for the future seem far apart. This is where faith comes in. You must trust that every step you take in alignment with your future self is closing that gap. Even if you can't see the results right away, the seeds you plant today may take time to grow, but they will grow if you keep nurturing them. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself daily is, what would the future me do in this situation? This question shifts your perspective instantly. It moves you out of reacting from fear or habit and into responding from wisdom and intention. The future you might choose patience instead of frustration, courage instead of avoidance, generosity instead of fear of scarcity. Over time, these choices become natural. You won't have to force yourself to think like your future self. You'll simply be that person. And when you arrive at the place you've been aiming for, it won't feel like a sudden transformation. It will feel like a continuation of who you've been becoming all along. So today, begin to walk, speak, and decide as though you are already living the life you dream of. Trust that every aligned choice is a step closer. When you act from the place you're going, not from where you are, you collapse the distance between your present and your future. You call that future toward you, and you step into it with confidence, grace, and certainty. There is a quiet magic at work in the world, the kind you can miss if you're not looking for it. It's the unexpected phone call that brings good news, the stranger who offers a smile when you needed it most, the parking spot that opens up just when you thought you'd be late. These moments are easy to dismiss as coincidences, but when you begin to expect miracles, you start to see them for what they truly are, evidence that life is always supporting you. Expecting miracles doesn't mean you sit back and wait for life to hand you everything you want. It means you live with the awareness that good things can happen at any moment, in any way, through any channel. It means you carry a sense of openness instead of a grip of doubt. When you hold that expectancy in your heart, you walk through your days in a different energy, an energy that draws more of those moments to you. The challenge is that many people are trained to expect disappointment. They prepare for the worst so they won't get hurt. And in doing so, they train their minds to notice only what's wrong. But when you expect disappointment, you miss the beauty in the small and subtle gifts life is constantly offering. The miracle you need might already be here. But if you're looking in the wrong direction, you won't see it. Expecting miracles is a choice you make each morning. It's waking up and saying to yourself, I wonder what beautiful thing will happen for me today. It's leaving space in your mind for the unexpected. And it's noticing the small things and treating them with the same reverence you would give a grand, dramatic blessing. A compliment, a moment of peace in a chaotic day, a solution arriving just when you'd run out of ideas. These are miracles too. When you start to notice the small miracles, something powerful happens. You create momentum. Gratitude expands your awareness. What you focus on grows. If you spend your time complaining about what hasn't shown up yet, you shrink your ability to see the gifts that are already here. But when you celebrate the little things, you train your mind to spot more of them. Soon the small miracles start to add up to something bigger. This mindset also changes the way you experience challenges. Even in difficult times, you can remind yourself that miracles are still possible. You don't have to know how they will happen. You just have to hold the space for them. That job you thought was gone forever could circle back with an even better offer. That relationship that felt broken might bring an unexpected moment of healing. That health scare could lead you to a lifestyle that transforms your entire future. Some people worry that expecting miracles will only set them up for disappointment. But here's the truth: expecting miracles isn't about demanding a specific outcome. It's about trusting that whatever happens will lead you to something good, even if it doesn't look like what you had in mind. You can hold a vision for what you desire while also allowing life to surprise you with something even better. One of the easiest ways to live in this state of expectancy is to keep a daily record of your blessings. Write down at least 3 things each day that went well. Moments that made you smile, opportunities that came unexpectedly, signs that reminded you you're on the right path. Over time, you'll have a collection of proof that life really does work in your favor, and that miracles, big and small, are always around you. Another way is to speak to yourself as though you are someone who lives a blessed life. Words carry power. When you say, "Good things always happen to me," you are not just describing your reality. You are shaping it. Your mind starts to scan for evidence to support that belief. You walk through the world more open, more willing to see beauty, more ready to receive. The truth is, miracles are not rare. They are not reserved for special people or special moments. They are woven into the fabric of everyday life. The sun rising each morning, your breath filling your lungs, the way your body heals from a cut or a bruise. These are miracles happening without you even having to ask. When you truly let that sink in, you realize that you are already living in a world overflowing with magic. So let yourself expect it. Let yourself believe that something wonderful can happen at any time. And when it does, no matter how small, pause to acknowledge it. Smile. Say thank you, because every time you recognize a miracle, you invite more of them into your life. Over time, you'll see that what used to feel like chance is actually the natural rhythm of a life lived in trust, openness, and gratitude.